All right, guys, welcome back to another exciting day in crypto. Never fails to be exciting. I hope everyone's had a great few. I guess we've been like about a week since we've done a stream, because I hope everyone's had a great week. I was going to come on earlier, but I don't want to come on constantly and just overshare. So I want you to feel like when I share a video, you should probably watch it, because I'm probably going to say something important. So I feel like it's time to get back out and go over what we talked about in the last video, just to kind of give us some confirmation on our ideas and give us a little more confidence in the next little bit of a move that I think is possible for the markets. Once again, thank you everybody for being here. Looks like the stream's doing great, so I think we've completely solved that problem and accomplished that mission. We've climbed that mountain and we can see the light. So that's a good thing. I'm happy for that. All right, so the first thing that I want to look at, and I mean, even if some people aren't here right now, I'm going to stay on for a little while today so we can talk about stuff, but I'll get right into it in case people are watching this later, because I would like this information to get out there for people to see, because I think we could be looking at a spurt of action here. Even though it's been pretty action-packed, I really think that we're just getting started. So I want to go over some stuff. Bitcoin dominance. We have been watching for multiple weeks now. We were watching it push its way up through here. And if you're in my group, even the free side, we've been looking at this chart for a long time. I mean, I made this chart months and months ago. So we've been looking at this idea, and we did see this pullback. We saw a slight bounce, and now we're seeing more of a pullback. If we break below these levels, even if we try to retest up a little bit, it is alt season. It's on. The only thing that is going to stop alt season from happening right now is if we catch a bounce here, which is very possible. So again, when we're breaking these levels confidently, we do it quickly. And now we're at this point where we have to wait and see what happens. So we're going to want to zoom in to a smaller time frame, see what kind of patterns are forming, look at our alts, look at Bitcoin, and try to make a decision. But ideally, if we get rejected here, we could really see alts make their move. It could drag out too. I mean, we could have a month or two where we swing around and do some type of a bearish retest before we make that big move. But leading into this moment is where we need to be considering alt season. And we're going to go over those charts. We're going to look at those charts today. And we're just going to break down on a high time frame what we should be looking at. And then maybe at the end, we'll go in and we'll kind of take a look at lower time frame stuff and see kind of where we're at in the bigger spectrum here, because I really want everybody to be zoomed out right now and looking at the high time frame stuff, because I think that the bigger moves are going to do you a lot better than hunting and digging and diving and risking your money for the small ones at a time where we could really be seeing the whole momentum of the market change, potentially in altcoin season's favor. The total market cap hit 4.07 trillion. That is insane. Go cryptocurrency. I mean, that is beautiful. Pardon me. Hey, JB, welcome. Nice to see you. Hulk smash. No, Hulk smash, Hulk candles. Maybe we'll see some Hulk candles in the whole market here, right? When things start to move, they really start to move. We've had multiple stretches here where we've had big runs. And I mean, obviously, as we push higher, these big runs get harder and harder to accomplish. It's a lot of money. But if we tried to range this, and we'll just skip the first point to not get greedy, or even if we tried to add my favorite pattern, a small little line up here would be insane. A small line would change numbers. Like it would really just be pretty outlandish. So that's something to look forward to. I mean, do we really go all this way just to roll over? The entire market is in price discovery. Crypto has never seen this much money before, and nothing's really happening with the altcoins that's kind of standing out. It's not like everything's exploding on this right now. It's kind of like preloading to do so. Okay, so we'll start with Bitcoin, as we always will, because Bitcoin's the boss. We all know this. Now, if you've been in even the free group, we've been doing really well with Bitcoin in the past little while. We have been following it since this big falling wedge pattern. Then we had this flag style pattern, and we even went as far as to make a couple of ideas on this pattern. And I will show you in the Discord later, exactly. Obviously, when this happened, I didn't say anything, but when we broke back up in to the area, I believe we had something along this line. When we broke back up into the area, it was time to look at re-entry, and sure enough, we've had a nice run once again. So we're catching all the moves in the group, but only the big ones. I mean, I'm not. There's so many ways to trade, but I really try to keep people grounded on the bigger patterns and the bigger ideas for the bigger moves. If you want to take those, and obviously smaller time frames are just fractions of the bigger time frames. So if you want to take everything and put it into the smaller time frames and scalp trade all the time, you're going to get all that out of the group, but that's going to be up to you to decide to do. So I usually try to share bigger ideas, bigger moves. It's less work and more money for you. I'm sure you'd rather be hanging out with your family, or even just spending time on yourself. And again, I'm going to go over these, and then we're going to look at all of them again on a smaller time frame. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll go through this list first, and then I'll go back through. Okay. So there you go. It's already made, because this is the group list, and so these are the actual patterns that we've been trading. That's pretty close to what I just shared. Anyway, so at this point, we're obviously looking to see Bitcoin break a level here, or let's maybe even on a weekly or on a daily time frame, we can move this level down to here. So we're ranging now, and we need a clear pattern before we want to make another move. We've been playing this level for level. And again, when you're seeing Bitcoin consolidate, alts are doing very well. Now, that's not always the case, but it's getting to be more and more the case. So that lets me know that alts might be getting ready to do their thing. Smaller time frame with Bitcoin. This was the pattern. Now we really need to push these levels, obviously. I mean, do we top out here? Or are we going to smash through all-time highs again and continue to push? We've obviously made a cross. I've got my yellow line is my 200 moving average, and my red line is my 50-day moving average. So, I mean, we've just made what we would call a golden cross. Never a bad thing. But it doesn't always mean that we're going to go to the moon when we make that golden cross. Just means we're changing momentum temporarily. We kind of really need to see what happens. Obviously, everything's getting up into the higher levels, but we are seeing green volume. We're seeing positive volume. So time will tell if Bitcoin's going to continue. Now, the last time we were looking at Ethereum, we were talking about the idea that we could push to this final target. And again, we'll zoom right out on this. We were looking at this large pattern. Again, we've been watching these levels for a long time. This white bar here was the idea, and we didn't get much lower. I mean, we pulled a wick down below, but our target sat pretty well, and we've blasted through all targets at this point, heading up to our all-time high target. We kind of reached on that last time, that once Ethereum hit a certain point, it was probably going to just continue up through and prove its point. And so obviously Ethereum's had a lot of attention in the past little while. Again, though, it's nice as far as trading goes. It's nice to be entering when you're seeing things consolidate. It's much scarier to enter things here, excuse me, on the idea that they will continue to push. We could see something pull over. I think this is what we talked about last time, is we would hit a certain level, and then we would see, more consolidation as we progress up to a higher point, which potentially ultimately is just giving us like some bigger curve idea here. So if we weren't making entries and ideas on the last video, when we were talking about how we were probably going to see these moves after, I think the last time we did the video, we were in like a bit of a pullback, and it was either back to ground zero, or we were going to hold these bullish patterns and make another leg up. And so obviously a lot of things as far as the alt world went did make another leg up. A lot of alts were doing very well, and Bitcoin has held its momentum. So now we're looking to see if we're going to break this, hold, and do some price discovery running, or if we're going to, get everybody really excited and do a lower high here and create some type of a different pattern. I mean, that is a very powerful uptrend. So, I mean, people are very bullish on Ethereum right now, obviously. There's some amazing candles to see. So we'll get more into alt. And I'm not going to go over these too much. What I want to do is I want to run through this list, and I want you to see the same pattern over and over and over again. Because that's what you're going to see in here, is the exact same pattern over and over and over again. And it's good for alts. And remember, we're on the 3-day time frame. So we really have to start considering that these alts are going to shine soon. They only draw out and consolidate for so long before they make a move. And we're actually getting to the point now, excuse me, where these patterns are really starting to consolidate. And you'll see some of them are really, really consolidating. Once we get pinching into this triangle so far, there's only so many, excuse me, there's only so many places for the price action to go. And typically, you're going to see a run up, and these coins are going to do very nice targets. I'm not saying we run straight to these high targets first time around. There's a good chance on a long scale that we would pull back and then run to a higher level. Some of them will definitely do this when it's really alt season, but oftentimes ones that do that are just going to do this very soon after. So you have to kind of watch, make a plan, lock in on your idea and commit to it. But again, stuff like Link, the last time we looked, and again, I haven't moved these charts. We were looking at it down here at these lower long levels when we had our last big pullback. We caught a nice pullback and a bounce. And then the last time we were on, I think, looking at the video, we had just kind of started testing this level. And I said if we hold, we're going to keep going. We've been running ever since we came down, and obviously we went a little below, but ideally we held this area, and we've been pushing up to the top of our pattern idea. Now, once again, we have to consider that, you know, this hits up at these top levels here, and then it has some type of a pullback retrace. Maybe it doesn't make it that far, but at least something like this is possible, right? If we don't break right up through, and even if we break right up through, again, not to get too many lines here, we could still pull back and retest. Chainlink hasn't made big moves in a long time. A lot of these altcoins haven't, but that's why I think as we consolidate into these areas, we're kind of, the inevitable is going to happen, right? So either crypto is going to zero, or we're going to see the first actual altcoin run we've had in a long time, quite a few years. Yeah, well, that's, you know, it's quite the market, isn't it? I went and made the perfect meme just for this moment. And the only thing I can say about how these markets seem to work every year. This is crypto. That's just how it goes. Gains for life, welcome, welcome. We are looking at very high time frame altcoins today to give ourselves an idea of what could be on the way. Now again, we're going to see the same pattern occurring all over the place. This exact same pattern is everywhere right now. So we're in these lower ranges. Now, again, not every single coin is like this. I highly advise that you go and chart anything before you spend any money. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only, as we all know. But a lot of these patterns are very consistent, and these are the ones you want to stick to. Because, again, we have a potential to make it up to the top, which at low levels like this is a nice run. And we're low enough now that we can set our stop loss at a small loss, because we know that if we break this line, we're probably going to go down. Okay, so that's why it's nice. It's what people would consider it an aggressive entry, but I'm more likely to make entries like this because it's such a small loss if you're wrong, and you can just try again when you get the pattern in mind that you want again. So looking at this range, if we break it, you're out. If we hold it, it's a very nice run. That's the kind of trade that you're looking for, in my opinion. Now, Trump has two options. It runs up, pulls down, or it pulls down here, does another touch, tries to shake everybody out, maybe even pushes it down to a level it hasn't seen before, just before it finally inevitably breaks this very obvious pattern that we're in. A lot of things are in. This will play out. This will be how these things work. It's just trying to decipher which of these options is going to happen and how to get in safely, you know, dollar cost averaging, sticking to whatever your risk management is. But these are the things that we have to pay attention to when we're this low in the market. Trump short squeeze. Yeah, maybe they could see a real quick burst up here. and then pull down. I mean, I'm really seeing this pattern everywhere right now. And back when we were seeing this pattern, I mean, remember, like, I know I'm new to YouTube, but I've had my Telegram and everything for years. We were looking at stuff way back here, and when we saw, even when we saw on the dailies for the first time, we saw things just do this. When it finally broke, it really, okay, and there's a pretty good example. Here's the triangle. It breaks up and runs, and then it breaks down right just below it to scare you, and then boom. That was the move, right? So then once again, you're getting the same thing, and then boom, the move, holding, boom, the move. So this one obviously is a little higher up right now. This one's already made its run. It's probably going to more likely roll over. Or again, you can watch for these levels to break and see if you're going to hold on them to push higher. But I'm always aiming for ones that are down low. In my opinion, something like this is more down low right now. It hasn't made its move yet. Trump is one that we've been watching. We've been catching little runs on it periodically, but I've been quick to take profits on it because I don't hold altcoins. I trade altcoins personally. I don't have whole bags of altcoins. I trade altcoins. All right, but again, so we have virtual here. Now, virtual is newer, so it doesn't look as great on the higher time frames because there's less data, but still, we are looking at the same type of a pattern idea. A lot of these things are in these same consolidated patterns, and it's only a matter of time before we are making our move. And again, just if we watch that Bitcoin dominance chart, say we get a little bounce and these coins decide to roll, push back down below and scare us just before they run, finally dominance rolls, then we see our alt season play out. Okay, now these old coins, they're really locked in. Okay, and again, we were watching these things before they did this first run, this first big run. We were watching these big drawn out patterns. This is what led to the first real altcoin season. It was this way back here, but it was the exact same thing. Long drawn out, boom, massive move. Long drawn out, boom, massive move. So we're getting to the point again where we're getting long and drawn out, and we're starting to see. So this was a setup we were looking at based on these two touches. We got this first boom up, and then we're looking at something like this again to see if maybe we push up a bit higher here, see if we can break through these levels. Because right now we have two choices. We're either going to hold true to this triangle pattern, which, I mean, let's face it, if we hit here and go down, that's going to bring us pretty low, which is possible. But we could also be turning into this reversal arc pattern, which could bring us a move to one of these two targets, which was kind of the idea off the original trade. The original trade was this, so you were looking for target 2. Now we broke up over target 1, but so far we haven't made to like the full target idea. And then this would just be a total bonus if we got up here. But ideally, we're looking at these curves on the idea that our trend is going to reverse, and we're going to try to, push our all-time highs and go for more. Now, again, we're on the daily time frame right now. So if you're scalping, you go in and you want to be shorting on this stuff and trying to long on this stuff. It depends on the time frame that you're in. If you want to get into scalping, that's your own business. Same pattern, same time frames. I scalp personally, but it really comes down to knowing what you're doing and what you're looking for, or you're going to get wrecked doing small time frame leverage trading. So that's why we're just looking at the big stuff today, because I think it could be worth looking at for the future. with where I think the market's going. If you want to scalp trade, come join the Discord, and we will go over scalp trading ideas, and we will go over all of the smaller time frame stuff. Again, same thing. Very long, very drawn out patterns. Okay, and we've gone over this before. A lot of this stuff is group stuff, but I just, at this point, share it, and then everybody can make a whole bunch of money and just come join the group, right? Right? So we're looking at breaking up. Maybe we pull back. Yes, that's very possible. But the idea is, at any point now, we're going to see a push. We're going to see volume correct itself. And we're going to see the trend change course. We are seeing price consolidate. It is very low. Our momentum is pushing. Everything is very cooled off. Now, again, this is on the weekly. So if you enter something like this, you could be sitting there for a month. And then boom, you get a real altcoin run. And you just pay yourself. Or you can get caught up and lose all your money just over trading. The market's down here, right? Or up here, especially up here. I mean, never, ever, ever trade things that look like this. Unless you're in and out in 30 seconds on the small time frames. So I'm sure we're seeing the pattern by now. Now, this was one that we did have in the group. I'm not sure how many people traded it or did well on it, but this was the pattern idea, and it played out much higher than our target idea even. So it went up. It was a very nice trade. But again, we got the same thing happening. Got these long, drawn-out patterns. Everybody's going to get all bored. Crypto's dead. Go back to McDonald's. Markets are over. Give up. It's not working. Nothing's happening. But in reality, it's always very, very boring and very drawn out before a move happens. So this is continuous over and over and over again. And then that forms your bigger patterns on your higher time frames. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody's trading something like this. But again, same thing. Big, long, drawn-out patterns. Running out of room. Dominance is way up high. Starting to roll over. Another one, just off of a smaller curve idea. Again, on a smaller time frame, you can see it where it actually exists. But nice little run. Setup given out in the group. So I'm basically sharing and trading and hunting for the same 2 or 3 patterns all the time. And the trade rate is pretty good for them. Oh, that's done even better today. All right, here's another one given out in the group. Cubic, big long pattern, big triangle idea. So we were looking at this. We drew this. We saw it break up through and consolidate. This was shared right away. This pattern here was shared in the Discord. And again, I'll go through and show the Discord later, just to show that this stuff is getting shared for you with more than enough time to make. I mean, I drew this whole pattern out and shared this when the price action was back here. You had more than enough time to catch an entry on the 50th time that it bounced there. And then now we're up into, you know, now it's, obviously you would have closed some of the trade out down here just in case you didn't get up to the top, but whatever you saved for the top of this idea, we're up in the top areas of our idea right now. So, great trade. But again, now we have to consider this, or we wait for a nice solid close out of here, and we look towards this. And you can catch that retest bounce on the idea that something's going to go up higher than that. But we also have to, again, really consider that this isn't ready to do that yet. And that we do, in fact, see us push back down one more time before we finally go up through to do this. So that's why I'm always looking for things that are down here, rolling, being boring, and then I'm scaling into the position when it's low, and I'm catching a big run for my bigger positions. Obviously, I trade for a living. That's what I've been doing for years. So I obviously scalp on small time frames, and I do. So I basically do, if I'm in the really small time frames, like the 1 to 3 minute, I'm doing really high leverage with smaller positions. And then if I'm into, say, the 1 to 4 hour area, I'll usually do, say, 5x leverage with bigger positions. And then my spot bags still would remain my biggest positions just for the bigger, higher time frame moves, because I don't really care if I have leverage if I can get 150% on a pattern run. So again, not just patterns. When we zoom in and look at this stuff, I'm also sharing just when you're seeing the money flow. Oh, I use a market cipher a lot. It's a pretty big indicator for me, matched with the patterns. They kind of join together, and they let me know. Like something like this down here, where you're seeing this big pullover and the big pullback. It's kind of, you're kind of seeing the max of the red money flow there. It's really pulling red down here a lot in all these places while the price is pulling down and then going sideways. So as the price is doing the last little pull down and this starts switching, they no longer agree with each other, and it gives me an idea for a complete momentum change for the next little while. And again, just, it doesn't change. No matter how many people on Twitter scream that it's going to be different, you get this long drawn out pattern, then you get your move. And you get this long drawn out pattern, then you get your move. We definitely looked at Shiba last time. Again, same thing. I'm not going to share a bunch on Shiba because I just put a Shiba setup in the group. And I think it's going to do really well, so I'm going to leave Shiba at that. But here's another one that we were looking at the last video. I think I posted this online. I mean, we're looking at the same idea. We were down here at these bottom spots. And it's, yeah, at that point it's 0 or you get a move. So we obviously got a move. It's moved almost 100%. Oh, over 100%. It's moved like 140 some percent since the last time we were on, because this is only the 4-hour time frame. So this one's come right down to our idea and had a very nice move. But it's the same thing, right? You get these long, drawn-out triangles. Exactly the same. And we did the same thing with this one in the last video. Long, drawn-out pattern idea. Not as big. Obviously, these are newer, so they're not going to respond the same. I really prefer things that are much longer. The more price history they have, the better. All right, so Doge. We made a higher high. Looking for a higher low here. Are we doing a momentum switch? Is this a higher high than here? Is our next inevitable place a higher high up here? Have we done our full reversal and are now pushing towards alt season? Again, this was shared in the group here. All of this. The only thing that I think I've added is maybe this line. I don't remember having this line, so I must have added that during the live. But this, I haven't touched this chart in a long, long time. Since I shared this little pattern, I haven't touched it. And so it's been, I don't know, a few weeks. And we had that nice run, come down to do a pullback. But again, we are just getting this golden cross. And even on the lower and the higher time frames, it looks like we're putting in bullish trend indications. Okay, again, same thing. I at this point, do I even have to say anything for this one? Newer coin. We've had a couple of good setups on this one. Again, we are looking at this long, drawn out, not quite the cross yet, hasn't quite turned yet, but our money flow is pushing up. This was another setup out in the group. But at this point with this one, I don't know, we're going to want to see, I guess, what this pattern would do. Not as big and drawn out. Again, some of them don't look the same. So this one obviously isn't as big and drawn out. But if we're in a bullish situation for alts, all of these bullish pattern ideas are going to start to play out. This one, someone from the group had me put on. Yeah, I am using moving averages. So the yellow one's 200 and the red one is 50. Those are the only moving averages that I use. Sometimes if I'm scalping, I'll use the 21. But I really just stick to the 50 and the 20. Or the 50 and the 200, sorry. Okay, ADA is a very messy chart. Not messy, but there's a lot to it. But I mean, the idea here is that just like we had back here, same thing. And yeah, we were here trading, running Telegram. I was running a Telegram group and running my Instagram back here when we saw these big. I'm not making this up. They're everywhere. These curve patterns are everywhere. I don't make the rules. But here they are. So we could really be looking at a repeated pattern here, right? So we're going to come up and test these levels. Well, it wasn't long ago when all of the price action that existed for ADA was this. And, I mean, it was the exact same thing. And we're here now. We're down here. It doesn't look great because we're down here right now on the bigger picture, but momentum is changing. And now you're going to see these patterns again. If you want to get in there and get trading, and you want to do aggressive trading, you can go in and find these patterns on the small time frames. They're all there. It's the same thing. It's fractal patterns, but you have to understand that they're not going to be as consistently winning, and that you got to take your profits faster, right? You're gonna when this curve pattern completes, your profits need to be taken. So that might be 1 or 2% instead of 400. So it just depends on how you're going to approach the trade, what risk you want to use, what time frame you want to be in, what kind of dedication you want to put into that particular trade. The big money takes time. The big guys, they're accumulating and waiting. They don't need the money. They just keep adding and accumulating when it's low, and then when it goes real high, they're getting out. When your alert goes off that, you got a breakout of all-time high and you start entering, everybody else has been scaling in down here for the past 3 years. So when we get this run again, we're going to move, and then we're going to pull back. Say everybody gets their wish and ADA goes to 750. Something big, right? Crushes this line. It's not going to stay up there. It's going to be the same as this. It's going to run up, and then it's going to move down, and it's going to die off for the next season. Okay, so we're getting there, and we have choices to make now. And when the time comes, we want to have a plan, or we're going to get wrapped up, we're going to get lost, we're going to see $7 ADA, we're going to freak out, we're going to buy some, and then we're going to get stuck in the slums for another 3 years. I mean, I considered stuff like this all the time. This is how I know a lot of people don't like patterns and they prefer candles and indicators. I have a very keen balance of patterns, candles, and indicators, and it always is based off of previous price action. Always. There are things that I won't trade just because I don't like the charts. If I don't like the charts, other people probably won't like the charts. Other people probably won't trade them. So I'm sure there's people out there that are more picky than I am. Okay, so let's look at DOT here as well. Same thing. Big drawn out pattern. Big, huge consolidation happening right now. I mean, best case, we get up here, we get up here and we break out, and we're able to retest this level. And then we make our way up into higher levels. And the last time that we saw these patterns happening on this chart was when it came out. And again, we were here. We were here for all of this. I had guys do really well in the group back when I had the Telegram group and this actual alt season happened. All of us were in shock. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to say. So again, we had the same style. Obviously, it was much smaller, but this is what happens when Bitcoin dominance goes down and alt season starts. And then when alt season ends, it all goes away for a long time. So is crypto dead? Or are we about to see alt season? The first one in a long time. This wasn't alt season. This wasn't alt season. This is alt season. Not this. So that's what we're watching for. We're watching for these patterns to fill out and make their moves. And every time they almost make their move and then they go back down, it's not a curse, it's a blessing. Because that just means that you can, you know, reevaluate your position and try to get in better. How long have I been? Well, it's 2025. I've been trading since 2017. I've had my group since 2018 or 2019. Now, Discord I just started, and I just started doing YouTube. I was so very content with having like 20 people in my Telegram and just speaking to them and working through the markets with them. And I have a kid, so I was really busy dadding, and he's getting a little older now, so I've decided that I'm going to pursue this a lot more publicly, and that's kind of why I've made the YouTube channel now and have switched to Discord, because it seems like a more user-friendly platform. But yeah, I've been in the trenches for a long time, my friend. And I trade stocks as well. I probably trade too much, but it works for me, and I've been a full-time trader since around 2020. Basically, COVID happened, and I decided to go full-time and never look back. But I did have the support because at that time I was still working and running my group. I was framing houses and running my group at the same time. So at one point I just decided to switch to trading, and that's what I've done. All right, so here's an example of something that fell out. All right, so if you're buying down here and you set your stop loss very low, you're not taking a big loss if it decides to fall out. Now, still though, time changes, and when time changes, patterns have to change, ideas have to change. And once again, if you had been looking at this down here, even after it fell through that idea of it holding up here. So you thought maybe it would hold up here, and it didn't do that, but then you get this small falling wedge pattern, you get a little run up, you get a pull back, higher low, starts to run. So, I mean, you're getting bullish on the idea, so it's tradable down here. The only place that these markets are not tradable is up here, unless you're getting out fast or you're trading against the market. So it's always down that wins, always. The bottom trades are the big trades. All right, this chart's going to look overwhelming, but we'll take a minute and we'll kind of go over it a little bit. So again, way back here, first bull market, 4 alts. Big runs, dies off, takes everybody's money, and ever since then, nothing else has happened for a lot of these coins. We've had small runs, but not massive runs. So what do we go here? We've got 231 days of nothing before we have a small uptrend. And then we have 228 days of nothing before we have a small uptrend. And then now we've had 228 days of nothing. So I can only take a gander as to what might possibly happen over the next few weeks. The question is, does this lead us to choice A, where we break, we retest and we hold, and then we run up? Or does it lead us to another run down, maybe a lower high here, bullish divergence on the indicators before we finally break out, do our retest, and make our run? So those are your two choices. The third choice is 0, So yes, this is more of an aggressive entry, but this is going to get you a much bigger move. This is 250% down here. That's 184 up there. So you kind of have to make your trading plan. You now have options. Here's a great buy point. Here's a great buy point if it happens. Here's a great buy point if it happens. But then you have a double line below you with an idea to maybe call the trade on the idea that it's going to roll. This is why it's much nicer to get an entry down here, because if you get down here and it makes its way up, you got a lot less pressure on you when you're up here trying to decide if you want to re-add on this pullback. And then obviously your targets for this new bull run are going to be based off of previous price action. And you're just going to have to, it's like, when do I take profits? Well, you're going to have to take it level for level. If this thing's getting a lot of volume, a lot of momentum, it's going to go up really fast. You're going to want to take profits as you go. If you know some insider news that no one knows and you really think that this thing's going to push to all-time highs and be a real project in the future, I mean, let's face it, that'd be pretty impressive for this one. But ideally, you're looking at the same basic trading strategy for all of these charts on these higher time frames. And they're not going to just go up very fast. There's a better chance that you're going to see something like this happen. You're going to come up out of here, but you're going to play this in a range. So you're going to swing up and swing down and swing up and swing down, and then you're going to hit your third phase, and you're going to do that big swing up and pull back, and you might get the fourth, double top, higher high. Who knows what happens at this point, because then you're into FOMO, and the markets are way more inconsistent because a bunch of people that have not traded in 4 years are coming on and throwing money at it because they're like, oh my God, alts are going to $1 billion. So, I mean, it's so much harder to judge things and trade up here confidently. Unless you're scalping. That's a totally different game, right? For these bigger moves that we're looking for in the future, you got to decide whether you want to be the guy down here that catches this or takes a small loss, or do you want to be the guy that starts looking at alts when this finally happens and we hit these levels, and then you're getting in hoping that we're going up higher. And then you get totally bamboozled because what we do from there is we just go like this. And then we move. We really have to consider how these markets swing. I know that's way future talking, but I was just kind of trying to break down the whole idea. All right. I think that's enough chaos for this coin. Let's move on to another one. Same thing, big, large, drawn out pattern, right? Now the volume's not amazing here. It'd be nice to see some volume shot. This is pretty nice though. Maybe this is just the cool down before something happens. Because, again, we are about to turn. Here, let's go up a higher time frame with this even. All right, so again, let's look at the whole show. How many times have we seen things maybe not make a higher high, but at least test some of these bigger levels on our weekly time frame? That's a 225% move. That's a 91% move. That's only 117%. Look how much bigger of a move that has to be. Okay? So, which trade do you want to pay attention to? And which trade would you like to enter? I hope it's A, because A always wins. That first trade. Boom. Trade over. Who cares? It's 200%. Don't be greedy. Best case, you get this again. Boom, another 200%. Worst case, you put a smaller position back in on the bounce and the retest of this level, and you make a little bit going up to the next level. But anybody that tells you it's not time to be paying attention yet is just waiting to get their bags filled enough that you can get in on the next one, because tell me the people aren't ready for alt season, loaded up on it, making their moves based on charts that look just like this. Again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment. Don't listen to people on YouTube, not even me. But if you were going to listen to anyone, would it be the person that says, well, it's not time yet. I think you should wait for it to run 220%, hit a higher high, and then make your entry. Because then that might trigger that we're going to move up 90% to the next level here. And there's a lot more in it for you if you're willing to be patient down here than if you're in a panic up here trying to catch something. There's a lot more in it for you. All right, XRP, weekly XRP. Look at that. How crazy is that? Big, long, drawn out, triangle looking pattern. This one kind of has the curve going on. And then you get this big triangle. But now what? I guess you'll have to see. You're bullish. You could really push here. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So then we have to pick a point where we can try to guess a range here. Maybe looking at something like this. Now again, if we're bullish, it could most definitely break up through and completely annihilate a trend idea. But I think one of the other ones that we had was in a big rising wedge like this recently, and it actually managed to break up through the top, do a retest, and then just made a big run. But when you draw the lines, you can kind of use those lines to judge what's coming next. And again, make no mistakes. We can go into the 1 minute time frame, and I can show you all of the exact same patterns and all the exact same ideas in the 1 minute time frame that we've just been looking at on the higher time frames. So it's the exact same thing. It's just obviously on the 1 minute time frame, it's going to play out a lot faster. But you're getting the same Same pattern, same ideas. I mean, this is dropping, dipping, dropping, and then look at all of a sudden, lo and behold, you get this nice consolidating one. You know, it's not the V, it's not the wave. There's a V-shaped recovery that's different. This is literally letting you know after the 5th or 6th time that it's turning around and about to make a run up. But again, you're on the 1 minute time frame. There's a difference between 4 or 5% and then, you know, seeing the same type of pattern happen and getting 400%. One of them happens fast, one of them happens slow, one of them's for a fraction of the profits. And yeah, high time frame stuff is very important because if you wanted to know where this was going to stop, all you had to do was go to the weekly and draw a line from this candle to this candle. And that first time we hit and pulled back was somewhere in this range. And then we hit around here, we pulled back, and now we're pushing up, and now we're kind of holding, which is pretty impressive. So obviously, other people were looking at this area, and confidence was lost in this area for a while. But again, it's the same thing. You get this long, drawn-out time frame, big move. Long, drawn-out time frame, big move. Now, right now, we have divergence. I mean, we got to push higher. We got, on the weekly here, we got some divergence happening for XRP anyways. But we all, okay, so this is how it usually goes. You see the big market cap stuff run. It funnels down into, you know, the mid market cap, and then the medium to low market cap, and then the micro cap. So the money flows down through the market caps, and that's kind of the order that your altcoins are going to run in alt season, which makes sense, right? Where do they get the money to hyperinflate these markets over and over and over again every year? They got to take it out of the bigger ones and push it down into the smaller ones and the smaller ones. That's how they build the liquidity to totally manipulate the markets and take everybody's money. You just want to be on the right side of that. Okay, near I haven't looked at in a while. I'm not even sure what that was for. Yeah, I wouldn't even say that's basically just holding flat on this line. That's definitely straight. Okay, same thing again. Higher highs, maybe not, but you got to consider how much of a move that is from down here compared to what kind of a move you're going to need to see happen. Okay, so there you go. There's the same, that and that are worth the same thing. There's a reason they keep driving the prices of these things down, right? You don't, the big money's not there if they go up and don't come back down. Then it's the stock market. I think a lot of people are using this for, well, not bad. I won't say bad, but definitely have intentions. Wouldn't bother with that. All right, so let's look at Sui. We'll get Soluna. So Sui is interesting because it kind of looks like it's just doing its own thing. Like it really wants to hold this, and it very well could. But that's what I would watch for on Sui right now. It's kind of a weird chart. Obviously, it's got a lot of attention because when it finally starts to turn over, it just kind of pushes and grows. But now it's kind of losing that momentum for now. So I would watch for, again, something like this at this point. And again, that leaves you with multiple options. You can take a risk and try to ride this curve up, or you can try to wait for here and miss it if it doesn't happen. So the best thing you can do is get in on smaller time frames. Keep your idea in mind. And try to work on making entries on these bigger patterns. And once you lock in an entry on the bigger pattern, you get your stop loss into a safe place, then you can make a decision about what you're going to do. Basically, you're trying to work really hard to score yourself a good seat at the table. One that's safe, no risk. But if alts run, we are most definitely going to hold this line. No problem. And we're going to see higher levels get hit. Okay, so we're going to push out. Maybe we hit, run, roll, and then we run. But we're going to see these higher levels get hit. I don't make the rules. That's just how it goes. Do we hold them? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are mixed emotions about the project itself now, but I mean, let's face it, people are trading charts, not projects. Who knows? It could be that kind of a bull run for Sui, where it does push up and make a higher high, but then it comes right back down, like all these other things we saw come down to those low levels when it was all said and done. Okay, so I'm not banking on holding anything past the run that I intended it to do for just that reason. Soluna, the last time we were looking at it, we were in this pattern. It has held on our line and it is pushing up. Again, we're getting the golden cross, which is your 200 crossing your 50-day moving average, 200 being yellow and the 50 being the red one. And then this is going to just turn into a big cup and handle pattern. And if it does indeed turn into a cup and handle pattern, it already has a slightly measured move. And then profiting from, down here on entry idea from when we were looking at this pattern. And again, if you're in the group, I've shared this. Now I share, so in the free side of the trading group, I share stuff a day or two late, or a week or two late, depending on what time frame, because obviously members are going to get stuff first so they can make the entries. But I still share it with enough time, even in the free side, for you to catch some of the run, or even just start to see these patterns for what they are and see them play out, because they really do. And again, it's not just patterns. You need, when you see that pattern happen, you need to also have some type of a confirmation from volume or from an indicator or some other type of reason why you believe that that's actually going to happen. You don't want to just go drawing triangles and assume that the price action is going to break up out of the top of them. Cody, I actually have on here because someone in the group has a big bag of it, and they are asking me to keep an eye on it. But again, it's the same kind of thing, right? We've got these historical points where we finally break over these levels, and we make those runs. And now here we are getting to the point where stuff is going to drag out. And again, much like some of the other ones, whether we make that small run and pull back again, or whether we catch everybody off guard and make the run, looking right now at these lower levels and looking at previous price action, trying to remove all you can from the chart, make it as uncomplicated as possible, and just try to determine where those low levels are and where you think you could push as far as high levels. Don't get greedy with your idea, because when you're down here and you're buying into stuff at these low levels, even if you're going to hit, say, very basic high time frame support resistance, even if you're going to hit the low stuff, it's 90%. If you're lucky enough to hit the higher stuff, it's absolutely crazy. But why wait and wait and wait just to enter for a day and wake up the next day down 40, 50%? Or wait until things make the move and then jump in for that last little bit of a run and score yourself 67 if it moves that far, compared to 97 if it moves that. Like, how many times have people scored outrageous percentages off of this thing while it's down nice and low? Or people getting like 50% a day on this thing for a while. Not that I want you to overtrade. It's just there's a reason why people like the prices down here. No, Shiba's not doing bad. I think I have a Shiba trade open right now. Yeah, I do. It's not doing great. I don't know. I've got 40 cashed out on it already, realized, and then it's sitting up like 84 on top of that right now. I guess you can't see any of that because of my giant chair. It's there, though. Yeah. 40 cashed out, and then 85 still in. But I mean, I have an idea for this that it's going to go up pretty high, so. Anyways, Bitcoin also following through. All right, but anyways, I've rambled on for a long time. If anyone is still here, does anyone have anything that they're looking at that they would like to maybe take a look at on a higher time frame or anything like that? Or anything on a lower time frame, I don't care. Is there anything anybody wants to take a look at? All right, well, I take 5 minutes. When I come back, if anybody's here or has any recommendations of what we should look at, I'll happily go through, look at some stuff. Now that I've got my system working, I don't even mind being online and spending some time just on here. It's no fault to me. So what I will do is I will just leave us on a small time frame. And we'll leave it there, and I will be back momentarily. All right, we're back. We're back. Oh, looks like Bitcoin decided to be exciting when I was gone. I don't think I have. It's on my other computer. No, I don't have any Bitcoin scalps open right now. Thanks for everyone that joined today. I appreciate having you here. I'll be getting online a lot more often now that I know that my new setup is functioning. I would have been on a couple extra times this week, but it's been pretty hot here in Ontario, and midday streaming is something that's pretty difficult to do when the heat is the way it is in my house. Again, though, it was kind of nice to take the break because I as much as I want to come on every single day and share, maybe I should do that because I could start sharing smaller time frame stuff too. And just I'm trying to build up the group and build up the people because the resources are there, and I'm offering good stuff even in the free side of the group. So even if I could fill the free side with people, um, I've always been here to try and help people not get completely annihilated in these markets because I've seen a lot of people come through the group that have lost a lot of money, and it's heartbreaking to hear stories about how bad the market takes from people. So it'd be really cool to be a positive force in this wild market of crypto. And I'm just working on how to build that and how to get that going. But again, I think I set this up. Hey, Diego, thanks for being here. It means a lot, man. It really does. Let's take a look. I think I have this set up. Let me see if this works. All right, yeah. So this is the Discord. And this is just this is just my free charts. So my Discord's not super complicated. I want to keep it very simple for a simple reason, keep it simple, stupid, right? So there's only two things in the free side. There's free chat and free chart, but that's more than enough. That's a place for people to talk, and there's a voice channel, so if anybody wants to meet up with me and talk about things, because the big thing about my group is I do one-on-one with people. When you come in my group and you're a paid member, we get a lot of one-on-one time together. So depending on where you are as a trader or where you want to go as a trader, we kind of dial in on that instead of just sending you into a general pool of knowledge where you can go and work on the things that you want to work on and be overwhelmed by all this information. I really like to sit down with the people in the group one-on-one and talk about where they're at, what they want out of trading, and how they can get there. So that's why my group's a lot more simple, because it's a lot more one-on-one and screen share than it is, people posting an overwhelming amount of charts, which is great. I mean, everybody's groups are awesome. I just do mine a little different, that's all. So anyways, in the free side of the group, recently, this is even just from the last video, we've got 150%, we've got 65%. Here's some other rock stars sharing some stuff for people to catch. Bitcoin, I'm giving out all these ideas for Bitcoin. Way back here in the free group, we get, I'm going to be making an entry now in the free side, and then boom, we bust right up through and we make a big run. And this is in the free side of the group. And then I will also kind of share, brag a little bit about setups from the paid side, but you're still going to learn the charts and the patterns. Even if you're just in the free side watching me brag about setups that I share, you're still seeing what that pattern looked like before the run and what happened when the pattern ran. So this was a nice one that we had. This is cubic, right? We just looked, and I think it's up over 300% now, but this was the idea that was given out and shared, and then those were the results. See, it's given out to you before it even hits this box, and when it does hit this box, it's not there for long before it runs away. Bitcoin constantly sharing, look, we have these options. We're going to stay and play in the pattern unless we leave, and then these are our options when we leave. Well, we stay in, the pattern holds. And we did this 3 or 4 times in a row with this pattern. This was a Shiba idea. ran up almost immediately. So you don't have to wait too long for these setups that I'm sharing. But I'm sharing setups on a bit higher of a time frame that are going to give you bigger money, and you're going to have to risk less of your money to get them. Here's another one. All right, so we give this out, and we get a nice big run off of the pattern. There's another few 100%. And this is all in the past couple of months. Imagine paying to be in the group, and within a couple of months, and I'm not oversharing things, the things that I share play out. There's no static. If I feel like the market's not there for a week, the group is silent. People will message me and be like, why aren't you sharing anything? What's going on? Like, give it a week. And then I'll share 3 or 4 things, and all of those things play out very well. And okay, so here's way back here when we're looking at this. Again, I said this was made a long time ago, and here it is made a long time ago when we were on our way up. What's coming next? And we're looking for that what's coming next. Well, we know what's coming next because we looked at it today. We know now that it's hit the top of here and ran all the way down to the bottom. And this is information that I'm giving out in the free side of the group. Here's our Ethereum running up. And now we're almost at that that all-time high again. Here's that Doge idea that I was talking about earlier, making that 100% run. Okay, so this group is not trying to show you anything but a formula. It's a constant formula that will get burnt into your head and will continue to make you money and you will see it. And this is the free side of the group. Now, in the paid side of the group, you get lower time frame setups, higher time frame setups. You get some charts that I've made. You get to talk one-on-one with me anytime you want to. But again, the group is there. Enough of the group. I think I've plugged enough group today. So again, is there anybody here that has anything in particular they would like to look at today? And thanks so much to the folks that are in here right now. I understand that I'll probably have to stream to a small handful of amazing people before the room is full. And I'm here to do that, and I'm very humbled to have the people that I have here with me, especially the ones that keep coming back every stream. HRJ Trading is just consistent. I don't think the man's let me down one time. He's been here to at least throw a thumbs up and give a shout out, and that means a lot, man. Yeah, we do stocks too. Just if you're a stock market person, we definitely do stock markets as well. I've had some pretty awesome stock market trades in the past year. But my stock account is up 180% in 1 year, year to day. Since the beginning of the year, my stock market account is up 180%. So I'm feeling pretty proud of that. I think I've done better on the stock market in the past couple of months than I have crypto, which is hilarious. But I have been I've been sharing a lot of trades with the group, and then kind of concentrating my energy to a couple other things that have been on my radar. So I think that's why I've drifted towards the stock market this month. But typically, I'm more of a crypto trader, whether it's scalping Bitcoin, and the only thing that I will ever do high time frame scalping with is Bitcoin. I do not mess with leverage trading a lot of alts. There's a few that I will, but it's because I'm pretty comfortable with them. And I think that's the only reason that I'm willing to do that. Shiba, I will trade Shiba until the sun falls down. But I will honestly admit that the best trade I've ever had in my life was like a 30,000 American dollar trade, and it was this right here. This is the best trade I've ever made in my life. I didn't make it to that far. I think I was out somewhere down here. But that's the best trade I've ever had in cryptocurrency personally. I also had a very nice trade on T-Fuel. I think that would be my second. I see if I can bring it up. Is T-Fuel not a thing anymore? Or am I not getting the ticker correct? That might not even be a thing anymore for all I know. All right, well, if everybody's pretty content with what we've talked about today, instead of dragging it on today, maybe I will try to bring it back and reel it in again tomorrow. Because, again, I would like to get on here and stream some more and maybe share some more stuff with some more people who are looking to see that. So we'll call this one today, and we'll let it be what it is. But, again, if you're here right now and you want to, follow the link, join the free Discord. If for some reason you're unable to, find me on Instagram. I've got you'll know the account because it has, I think, 13 or 1400 followers, and it's got the check mark, right? So it's Infinite Team TA with the check mark. Don't try to look me up on X. I paid for a yearly subscription of X, and for some reason they have flagged my account and suspended it. So I have just lost like $180 to X. Whatever, no big deal. But apparently they don't like my content, and all I do is share charts, which is interesting. So I've been doing that just fine on Instagram for years and years and years, and then I did it on X for like 2 months, and they banned my account. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. But look on Instagram, or just go through the YouTube, because I have all of the Discord links. Again, if there's any reason you can't get it, just get a hold of me. I will get the Discord link to you, and come join the group, and we'll go over stuff together. Even if you're just in the free side, you're gonna see that it's a good place to be. This is what I do full time. This is my life. Unless I'm hanging out with my kid, I am trading the markets, and I I've got a lot to share. So I'd love to see everybody do well in this space, and I will see you guys the next time around. All right? A lot of love. Cheers.